balancing ambition with burnout. Today, I'm joined by Lucy Noonan, who is the boss lady of Atomic Consultancy, a firm that helps letting and estate agents buy and sell their businesses. Lucy, before we switch the cameras on, you talked to me about running your own business and the ambition and the drive to be a successful person, but at the same time burning out. You talked about the relationship you have with your husband and the way you bring your family up. And I think it's something that both men and women would learn a lot from, talking about that balance. So how have you got through, from having some important jobs in corporate estate agency to now running a successful business with over 6 people? How have you balanced driving the business without burning out? Talk to me.
Well, I haven't. I think the easiest thing, drop the mic off, I go. No, I think when I first started Atomic, I worked ridiculously. I was so passionate and ambitious of making this a success. Also, I think I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
Was there an element of proving to others?
Oh, 100%, yeah, wanted to prove.
Yeah.
One person in particular that said that you'll fail in 6 months. And when that person emailed me just one line saying you've proved me wrong 12 months after, I literally fully broke down in tears. But I really didn't.
At least they had the balls or not to say that.
Yeah, he didn't. No, they didn't have to say that, and it was just one line. It wasn't like even it was a subject title in an email.
Doesn't matter. At least they sent it.
But yeah, they sent it, and that meant a huge. They had no idea how much that actually meant to me, but it did. But I worked even up till the start of this year. I was working 6 days a week. I put 3 stone on in weight in 3.5 years, because all I was doing was just constantly working. When I woke up, I thought about work. When I went to sleep, my whole life consumed around Atomic Consultancy. I kind of distanced myself from non-industry friends. I distanced myself from, not intentionally, but I was just so focused. And it got to January of this year, and I kind of looked at myself in the mirror. I'd realised I got into really bad habits with both eating and drinking, and I was getting really stressed out. And then I joined Property Academy, and that was a massive turning point for me, because I suddenly went to one of these groups where lots of people were in the same situation as me. And I think, being a business owner, I set out to be successful selling estate agency and lettings business. I didn't anticipate that I'd now have a team of 6. I'd be a business owner. I'd be responsible for this. And it's actually quite isolating, because
Lonely.
Yeah, it is really low. It can be really lonely, and I never really thought of it like that. And again, now I've got more empathy when I'm working with business owners that are selling, is because it is quite a lonely process, because they can't talk to their team, and sometimes they can't talk to their family. And there was things that I was struggling with, and even just things like pay levels and how to manage the culture and all of these kind of things, and that was quite lonely for me. And I think when I realised that actually this is a common occurrence, this happens with a lot of people, I've then set out to change that. So I've now started to work on the business rather than in it as much, which has been very difficult for me to do. But we've now recruited the right team. And I'm now trying to do 5 days a week rather than 6. And I know that sounds, but that to me is a big change. And just starting to do a bit more. But it's, I think the judgment sometimes can be quite difficult, especially, as a woman. I'm very conscious that I want to be a success, and that's not monetary value. For me, that is, being a success for my family, but and for myself. Money is a byproduct of that, in my opinion. But I'm 41, and I suddenly went to get my health check, and I think my metabolic age was something like 58, and I was like, Jesus, I need to sort this out. Like, this is just ridiculous. So I've really worked this year to try and improve that.
You don't know I'm going to say this, but I think the last time we saw each other properly face to face was probably a good 9 or 12 months ago, and I've noticed that you are a softer, if you don't mind me saying,
Yeah.
when I say softer person, you're you're always at it all the time, like
Yeah.
this. And now I'm just seeing you're a bit more at ease with yourself. You don't mind me saying that?
No, definitely. I think I have had some challenges over the last 6 to 9 months, like personally, that people don't know from the industry. And I think that has kind of made me realise that actually having this energy of always being like this all the time, is that good for anybody? And probably, especially me, probably not.
No.
And I was trying to get involved with too many things. So I have, stepped back from some commitments. Like we're saying off camera now, I am not in any of the school WhatsApp groups. My husband does all of that.
Okay, let's just go down that for a bit. I talk to an awful lot of successful businesswomen, and it scares me that their man is not, is almost jealous. I don't know if that's the right word, or feels a threat from not being the main provider, and the normal 2.4 kids. And I know you've got a wonderful husband, Craig. What tips would you give to people about, I know you said off camera that, you don't do the normal, Craig does the school runs.
Yeah.
And gets involved with all that.
Yeah. Well,
because you get judged, don't you?
I do get judged, but also I'll flip it on the head. It's the same for a man being successful and a woman wanting to be successful as well. And you can, in a partnership, both be successful. It just depends on what you classify as successful. So you always get into trouble about saying about women being successful and how does it make that feel? But I think it's the same for men. And the relationships that you have. So I know many people in my industry, like let's put a perfect example is Liana and Ollie from Laporto Brown. They're both business owners, both in the same industry, both work running the same company, both very successful, but they've both got very, very different traits that they bring to the party. And I think that is a good sign of a good partnership.
And I like the way you said success isn't just about the money.
No.
Well, no, that's what you implied, is that success isn't just about what you earn.
No, there's 100% no way on this earth I would ever be in the position that I'm in now without my partner, Craig. Just, it would never have happened. He has been so supportive. I'm not going to get emotional, but he decided to take a step back from, he's now got his own business. And one of those things was he could see in me that I needed regular holidays. That's my thing. I don't like handbags or posh shoes or anything like that. But for me, having a holiday every 8 to 10 weeks, whether that just be 4 or 5 days, is important. In the world he got 22 days. So it just wasn't practical. So he set up his own engineering company. He now works from home, but he's taken a lot of the slack, and we've just had that communication. And we have this thing, and it's really stupid. I think it was Michelle Obama that said it. It was on like a podcast or something, but we've adopted it, and it's how are you today out of 10? And that's all it is. And if I say to Craig, I'm a 5, and he goes, I'm an 8, he knows that he then will take some more credit. I have to explain why I'm a 5, even though he probably knows because I've ranted him in his ear the night before. But some days Craig will say, Craig will say, I'm a 5, I'm a 5. Okay, fine. Let's just get a takeaway tonight then. Let's try and make it easier. And we found that has been really, really helpful in our relationship. But yeah, people look in and the traditional 2.4 that you say, I'm probably the more what they would have classified years ago as the male, and that conception should change, because there's you, in a relationship you can both be successful. And I've got friends that are both CEOs or whatever in their same partnership, but it's the communication that you have. So do you need a nanny? Do you need if you want to both be in that position, then you've got to kind of work out how you're going to do that. But I don't think it's just women. I think it's men as well.
If you think about it, though, just moving the topic on, you're actually teaching your daughter things that not many other daughters could learn from.
Well, I'd like to think so, but it is difficult sometimes. I do look at some of the other parents, and it was my daughter's just gone back to school today after the summer holidays, and I'm in a group with just 3 other mums, and 2 of them were absolutely devastated. They'd had the best summer. I was like literally drop kick her out the door this morning, and I was like, yeah, she's gone back to school. I love being a mum. It's my greatest achievement, but I'm not a baking kind of mum, or but you know, I want to install in her the values of hard work, and you know, being kind. So you know, every parent can be different, but you know, I've been a parent called me an enigma, because I'm not there all the time, and I don't take the school clubs, and I'm not at every hockey class lesson. I will go if I've got time, and I will make it to the important things, but that's where, you know, my partner steps in.
I suppose it's almost sustaining your success without losing yourself from within.
Yeah, yeah. I think, you know, even when I was on maternity leave, I was supposed to have 12 months off, and I went back after 5.5 months because I just couldn't sit in any more mums groups talking about how much sleep my daughter had had, what the consistency of nappy was, and what food. That's just not me. My brain needed something more, and there's nothing wrong with that. And again, if you want to be that mum that wants to have that 12 months off and then come back and have your career, brilliant. But we shouldn't be judged just because, you know, I'm not this fluffy, you know, mum. But I tell you what, my daughter is tough, and I've shown her that. You know, you do have to. You know, we had a situation where the school turned round and a child had pushed my daughter. And so my daughter pushed this kid back, and the school says, "Oh, she should have gone and told the teacher." I was like, "No way." I was like, "If a kid starts, my child will push back." I says, "If my child's the starter and the instigator, then absolutely, I've got no problem with that." But again, I'm instilling, because if someone just said to me, "You can't achieve what you can because you're a man," and I went, "Oh, okay," I'd never be where I am. So, you know, that's sometimes as well, you know, I don't think sometimes I realise some of the things that I'm teaching Olivia is, you know, really important for the real world moving forward. So I'd definitely say that balancing, you know, all of these different things is different for everybody, and there's not, you know, one rule that fits all.
Thanks for your time today, Lucy.
You're welcome.